Hello, and welcome to my Shauna May Draw With Me series. In each episode, you'll be getting step-by-step art sessions on the fundamentals of drawing, coloring techniques, and animation. So get your drawing supplies ready because we're about to begin today's lesson.
For today's lesson, you will need a lead pencil with a good eraser, a sketch pad or a blank sheet of paper, a ruler, a table or desk with a nice flat surface to draw on, a room with good lighting, and a comfortable chair to sit in.
Welcome back. This is part 2 of 1 Point Perspective Neighborhood. If you did not see the first video, I encourage you to go back and watch that video before doing this one so you'll be up to speed on what's going on. Okay, so let's just jump right on in here. All right, so you see how it's coming along now? It's starting to look a little bit more like some houses with doors at least. All right, Leon, let's put some windows on these houses. So for the windows, you're going to make it above the eye line. And this time you're going to make 2 lines. So watch how I do this. All right, right now what I'm doing is just going a little bit above that eye level line that we use for the doors. 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2. And what I'm doing on each side is I'm kind of measuring with my eye. So it's like I'm almost kind of guessing like how what's the length between each of the lines. And I'm trying to make sure I come as close as I possibly can. And I think I'm going to redo this side because it looks a little bit inconsistent to the other side of the street. Okay, you see that? All right, now, just like how we did the doors, what we're going to do is have 2 lines on each house for the windows. Matter of fact, since the houses are pretty wide, what we'll do is we'll make, we could put 2 windows on each house. You know what? Let's just keep it simple because it's going to get a little bit confusing. So I'm just going to make 1 window for each house. 1, 2. Remember, just making 2 lines for your windows. 2. Okay. For the building that's closest to my left, it's running off the window's going to run off the page if I stay consistent with the other windows. So I'm not going to even bother putting the window up there. All right. Now we have our windows, we have our doors, and we're almost finished. We can get rid of some of these lines. I'm trying to make sure I make everything nice and big because it's just easier for you to understand the lesson when you draw the objects and the elements that goes into the illustration bigger for perspective. Okay, so now we can see the houses that need to be redrawn for the top. Alrighty. Oops, let me fix that. Okay, so now I have the top of my windows and the bottom. So now we have our windows, our doors, our sidewalks, and from here, this is where you just begin to decorate your houses. Okay, so now I just cleaned up my houses on each side a little bit. it's time for me to decorate the houses. So if you're at this point, you are at the decorating stage. If you've been patient long enough to get to this point. And yeah, now we're gonna have a little bit more fun. So first I'm gonna create the top of my buildings. So you should see like a little rooftop on top of each of these buildings here. I'm gonna create 2 horizontal lines at the top. And whatever I do on one side, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other. Try to come as close as keeping it consistent with each other on each side of the street as you can possibly make them. All right, so I got 2 lines, 2 diagonal lines coming from the vanishing point. Remember, the majority of the illustration, the majority of the lines that you create are going to come from that vanishing point. It makes the job much easier for you, okay? So it pretty much just did the work for you. All right, so let's create like a little pattern here. I'm gonna make some houses, some rooftop for these houses. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm gonna pick up the pace a little because again, this is just the decorating part. You can make the top of your houses look however you wish. 1, 2, 1, 2, okay? Now, just like I did the side for the alleyway of each of these houses, I'm gonna make a horizontal line. So whenever you're making your horizontal lines, that is when you don't need to use the vanishing point, but you do have to kind of make sure that your lines are perfectly horizontal as your center line for your eye level. Now the ones that's further away, I gotta get rid of these lines because it's really small and the detail is hard to see. Okay, and then I'm gonna make my horizontal line. Okay, so now you can see the rooftop for the buildings far away. And for the buildings close up, I'm gonna get rid of these lines here because I don't need them. Okay, so these are the lines that's preventing the houses to look like they're separate from each other. And now we have some separate houses, okay, with rooftops. So next what I wanna do is decorate my windows a little because they look a little boring. So you can use the vanishing point, make sure you use your ruler. Just create like a little design in your windows. Give your windows a little bit more realistic look to them. Make sure that you're using that ruler and your vanishing point. Okay, and you'll be good. Next I'm gonna create like a border for the top and bottom of my windows. For the ones that's furthest away, I'm not even gonna bother with that. The more detail you put in smaller objects, the more clutter it becomes. That'll be a lesson for another time. The further things get away, the less detail you should put in it because it can look pretty messy. Like even just looking at this, you look towards the center area, the buildings, you can't really identify what's happening there. If I add a lot of detail to it, you really won't be able to tell what's going on there. So that's just me trying to put a line for a door and it looks like a little dot. Okay, so you don't have to bother with that little detail back there. And just to make things look a little less confusing, and plus being as though this exercise or this lesson is actually coming towards an end, I'm going to get rid of my eye level line because by now your eye level line should be pretty well established. Okay, so as you can see, I'm kind of just cleaning up as I go. Now, next what I want to do is make my buildings, make the entire background just a little bit darker because I was trying to make it look as close to a pencil as I could, just so it can give that feel like I'm using an actual pencil, so that you know that you'll be confident enough to know that you can actually draw this by hand if you use a ruler and draw light. But now what I want to do is darken my lines because I'm about to start decorating a little bit more, and I want my line quality and everything to be a little bit more profound. So let me select everything here, and then I'm just going to bring down the color levels just so it can become a little bit more darker. Okay. All right, that's better. So now you can see my houses a little bit more. Let's finish up on the detail here, shall we? So for each house, you want to put more detail in your backgrounds to make it look a little bit more realistic or believable, just to give it more a lively feel. So I'm gonna put some borders at the top of my doors. 1, 2, 3. Notice that I'm still trying to make sure as I create these borders on the top of my doors, I'm trying to stick to the whole foreshortening rule, where it gives the illusion that everything is coming from that vanishing point. Okay, you want to make sure everything looking like it's coming towards us or getting closer to us. The further buildings, a little less detailed, so you don't have to worry too much about the buildings that's far away. All right, so here's a little technique I like to do for putting bricks on houses. So as a kid, one of the things I learned, or one of the things you do coming up as a kid, is making bricks look like this. Okay, you have like a whole bunch of lines here, and then put the lines for the bricks like that, right, all over the houses. If we did this, that would take so long for us to put every brick on all of the houses that we see here that's created for our perspective background. Now let's make life a little bit easier for us. When I got in school for animation, one of my instructors taught me you don't have to make the brick every single brick. You can put like a few bricks there, here and there, and it'll give the illusion that the houses are made of brick, because it's kind of like you just want to give the knowledge that, okay, there's bricks on these houses, so I got the idea. It's a brick house. So watch how I'm gonna do this. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I have only 6 bricks on this house right here. Watch how it looks like there's just bricks everywhere from just putting a few bricks on these houses. Remember, as you create your bricks, you want to still give the illusion that it's in perspective. So you don't want to just have like a brick just sitting in there doing its own thing like this. Okay, like it's facing us. It doesn't look right. All right, so you want to make sure that your bricks look like they're going on an angle. See? Remember, the house is closest to us, the bricks should be much larger. So you see how using this technique, it makes the houses look like they're a bunch of brick houses, and we're not even using a lot of bricks to do that. Now, the bricks that's on the side of the house should be straight. They should be facing you. Okay. So yeah, you don't need a whole bunch of bricks. I'll try to put some little tiny ones here. I wouldn't recommend putting a lot of bricks on the houses far away. And keep in mind, these bricks does not have to match the opposite sides of the houses, so you don't have to do that. It's not that. It's not that serious. Matter of fact, it really shouldn't match. It should just look like their own thing. Okay, so I'm gonna stop with the bricks for now. I think that's enough bricks. All right, so now for the sidewalk, what I want to do is just put a little bit more detail in this sidewalk. So I want to add like some cracks. So you see how like my whole neighborhood block starts to come to life a little bit. And sometimes for some of the cracks, you can actually like see the grass coming out of the ground. Okay. All right, so here I got a little bit of cracky ground going on, and you know, in some cases you will see like a little bit of trash on the streets, you know, for those that don't respect their neighborhood. Sometimes some people get a little careless and throw things in the street. So here I just have like open newspaper, and some places they actually put the trash can. I remember coming up as a child, I used to see like a lot of times people would put like trash cans on the side of the house. Which is not really a bad idea to like have people put trash cans outside, because in some cases sometimes people would just put their trash inside those trash cans. And let's just add like a little alley cat here. So here I have an alley cat. I'm gonna raise his eyes up a little bit. There we go. Little long neck alley cat. And yeah, you can just feel free to decorate your background however you want. I'm not going to put like too much detail in this because I feel like this lesson is pretty long, so I don't want to prolong it. But I'm just going to put a little bit of clouds in the sky, maybe like a silhouette of a cityscape in the background. And yeah, there you have it. This is my background, three-dimensional background drawn in 1-point perspective. And there's so many different things you could do with 1-point perspective. Just being able to use perspective is very, very helpful. It's going to be very useful for when you're creating props and backgrounds. And you want to kind of just get in the habit of like using it to the point where you can create an imaginary perspective background. An imaginary perspective guidelines in your head. Just like how when we create the body structure and the head structure, you want to kind of be able to have like an imaginary one in your head. This way you'll be able to do any angle you want. Same thing for perspective. If you have like a sense of perspective or how to use it in your head, you'll be able to create many different types of backgrounds and just be able to have fun with it and decorate it however you want and make it very imaginative and creative and put like your own spin on it. So yeah, this was our 1-point perspective neighborhood block, and I hope that everything I shared with you was pretty clear. But if it wasn't, if it's something you'd like me to go over, just let me know in the comment section. If this lesson has helped you, then hit that like and subscribe button. You can also check out some of my other videos. Feel free to leave a comment or suggestions for future videos you would like to see me do. Thank you for watching, and God bless.